I'm backlapping because I just replaced that bed knife. It's a brand new bed knife I purchased. A buddy of mine's going to start using this mower. So the first thing you want to do after you replace a bed knife is you want to go ahead and give it a light backlapping, and that's going to make sure that the contact between the bed knife and the reel is accurate. A 220 actually has the reel to bed knife adjustments here. You loosen up this bolt here. Mine is a ½ inch on either side. And then you turn this dial back and forth to get the clearance between the two. But you want just a little bit of contact where you can hear the bed knife and reel are making some contact. On the operator's left-hand side, there's this large nut here that attaches the shaft of the reel. You can buy a large socket that fits on this nut here. Let me see if I can make sure you guys can see that. There you go. It's a 32 millimeter, I believe. But if you notice, it's kind of hollowed out in the center there, and it's threaded. And so they actually have the option where you can find something that fits in that same thread. I'll try to look up the exact thread type, and I'll put it in text below here. Anyway, but that smaller size allows me just to use a standard socket. I don't have to go buy a 32 millimeter socket, which I'm sure, like most of you, I don't have a 32 millimeter socket just laying around. So this is a 5/8. If you buy one, it doesn't need to be 5/8. It's just what I have. So use what you have. You can buy one to accommodate whatever size you need. So just like in my previous video on the Toro unit, you will use the same kind of drill setup. Let me get this set up. Oh, geez. Okay. This is the drill setup I have. The adapter, just like in the last video, goes right in, and then this goes into your drill. All right. So I have some lapping compound here. Now, if you're doing a reel to bed knife mating, I would not use the 120 grit that I've used in the previous videos for sharpening. I'd use something made probably by PINHIGH, because they sell these smaller containers. Some 220, or the one I'm starting with right here is a 180. Ooh, if I turn it up like that. These are fairly cheap. You can buy 3 or 4 different types. One container is going to last you years if you're just a regular homeowner. So I have the 180 here. Just like before in my other videos, I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Yeah. You just get a little bit on there. It's not a big deal. Spread it across the upper part of the reel a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to come over. Let me back up some. Probably give you guys a better view. There you go. Then you spin the reel. The reel needs to go in the opposite direction of the cutting motion. So it would go in a counterclockwise rotation. So you use the drill to spin it like that. After you've done that a little bit, you want to check the reel to bed knife again. And then I'm going to switch to this 220. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of editing in this video, so hopefully you guys can see this. I'm just going to check it. It cut that perfectly. Perfect. A little bit dragging down here. This in, let's see. That may be partially because of the lapping compound that's on there. Could be causing a little bit of interference, but that one cut really well. So it's cutting really well. I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit on this side. Then I'm going to move to this 220 grit. There's already 180 on there. If you're real particular, you probably want to go ahead and wash off this 180 before you start using the 220. So here's the 220. Now that we're done with the 220, we should have a really nice quality cut on our little paper strips here. Okay, getting really good cuts everywhere. Really good cuts, and I still have the backlapping compound on the reel and the bed knife. So I'm going to take this outside, wash it off, dry it really good. That's important. And it's ready to go.